Hey everybody, Jillian here for Illustrated Faith's Print and Pray Shop to share a new Bible journaling process video. Today I'm going to be working with Brianna Showalter's brand new set Rythyms and Breast, and I'm giving you a look at the journal kit here. So these are the pages that I cut out and plan to put in a traveler's notebook. For today I'm going to show you my process in my Bible page since I really miss working in the margins of my Bible. But she has a great journal kit that can just help you kind of work through ways that you can find rest in your life. She has great prompting questions, and I so love this release from her. Now this page, Rest Equals Trust, is going to be the inspiration for my entry in Exodus, and then here's a look at her devotional content. So a lot is included in this set. It's beautiful with these like hymn pages in the background. And then you've got a few pages of elements too. So you have these two that have different things that you could cut out and decorate with. And then this sheet is really fun. It's basically word-fetty. So she painted the background and then put different words relating to her set on there. So really fun. I'm going to start by cutting out the things that I know I want to use for this page. So I knew I wanted to use this card that said rest, and then I'm going to use that to build my title. Now I wanted to try something out here, and we'll get to see together if it's going to work out. So I pulled some acrylic paints here. I'm using the Liquitex Heavy Body in Portrait Pink, some Target paints in it looks like Jade, Goldenrod, and then Seaweed. And I'm using a palette, and I can get the paint out and then transfer it to the palette, and then I've got a jar of water at the top of the screen that you can see there, and I'm going to use that to really thin down the acrylic paint. So we've seen over and over the really cool technique of scraping paint down onto your page with acrylic paint, and I'm going to see if I can do it with like a really watery version of acrylic paint. First I'm going to go ahead and isolate or outline my verses that I plan on journaling today so that I don't accidentally paint over them. And then I'm just dipping a brush in water and then really watering down the acrylic paint. Then I'm taking the paint card and trying to pick up some of that watered down pigment with the paint card. So you could very easily do this with a paintbrush like I am here, but I have this weird aversion to paintbrushes, so there's almost too much control with the paintbrush, and I really wanted it to look abstract, so that's why I decided to go with the paint card. So I'm just going to put the darker colors down first and then work my way up to the lighter colors. So I'm starting with the seaweed color, then going in with the jade, and the perfectionist in me wanted to hit this with my heat tool in between colors, and then I thought, well, it might look really pretty if they kind of run together a little bit. Trying not to make it look muddy, but you know, it might be pretty if they kind of blend a little bit. So that's what I'm doing here. Just letting go of that perfectionist tendency and seeing how it turns out and then going from there. The only problem with starting with the darkest color first is that your paint gets a little muddy and then you're like taking it into a light pink and it's not as light pink as it could be. So no big deal. So that was it. Super easy application to get a lot of color on the page in a really quick and simple way. And then I'm going to hit it with my heat tool to help speed up the drying process. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece out that says rest. I printed a couple things on clear sticker paper from Brianna's set and then the rest of it on cardstock. So the journal pages I actually printed on regular copy paper. The cover for the journal I printed on cardstock. This sheet of elements I printed on cardstock, and then the other, like those true strips up at the top, I printed on washi. I mean, not on washi, on sticker paper so I could use them as washi. So here I'm just going through some alphabet stickers that I have handy to spell out my title, which again is Rest Equals Trust, totally taken from Brianna's kit. And I wanted to just kind of focus on how, in our culture today, counterintuitive it is to rest. At the bottom of her page here, Brianna says, keeping Sabbath means that our quest for productivity is interrupted. We open our clenched fists and let the Lord take care of us. I think when God commanded the Israelites to, especially during like a harvest time, to not harvest one day of the week, that was an incredible act of trust. They really had to trust in him to provide for them, because that would have been so counterintuitive, you know, to like any other farmer. So I'm going to go ahead and read the verses that I'm journaling here in Exodus 20, verses 8 through 10. It's the Lord speaking to Moses, and he says, "Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, but he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy." And I'm sorry, that's actually verses 8 through 11. So I've used the top of my Bible mat to line up the letters that I'm going to use to spell out the word trust. And I wanted a mix of alphas, so I pulled the wonky alphas from Blvd, putting a little more yellow here on the page because I'm realizing there's not really going to be much yellow underneath where I'm going to place my title down. So again, using some of those wonky puffy alphas from Blvd, a couple homespun stickers, and then some others from my stash from Studio Calico, and then even the tiny colorful alphas that are new-ish to Illustrated Faith. I had planned to layer some washi on this page and thought, why don't I just go ahead and start now instead of gluing things down and then picking them up to put the washi underneath. So I wanted a little bit of black peeking out from behind this card, and I knew that I had wanted to use the It Is Well washi tape from Illustrated Faith. So I'm using the polka dots around the page as almost like marks on the page, like art marks on the page, and then I'll use the sentiment in between the polka dots on the washi roll elsewhere on the page throughout the video. Now when I put this word down, I had like a green R for the word trust, and it was just getting lost in the painted background. And I'm realizing the same thing here when I try and use a larger homespun sticker. So I'm just going to switch things up a bit, switch out the letters to make them really pop off of the painted background. You can also see that I used a couple letter I's from those green homespun alphas as an equal sign to go ahead and make my title. And then I'm using these almost like faux washi strips in Brianna's set. I'm using this set with the trees because the greens kind of match what's on my page, and I'm going to layer that with the rest of the It Is Well washi tape, and then use the trees in a couple places. Now I pulled out a couple stamp sets, both from older devotional kits. This is from the Word Nerd devotional kit from DaySpring, and I really liked this silhouette and I wanted to use it on the page. So because it's such a large solid stamp, I thought I would practice stamping it a couple times to make sure that I'd get a nice crisp solid impression. You can see the first one that I got on the backside of Brianna's devotional was really great, totally crisp, unlike this image. So you can see there's a little bit of blotchiness on this girl. I tried to stamp it twice, and because I'm stamping over paint and even a little bit of washi tape, I'm not getting a super crisp image. So even though I had stamped on the back of Brianna's devotional as like a scratch paper, I ended up just deciding to fussy cut this silhouette out and adhering it down over what I tried to stamp on the page. And because the great thing about printables is that I can, I can just print it out again if I want to include it in another project. Another stamp set I pulled is this 4x6 alpha stamp. I believe this is from the Less Hustle, More Jesus devotional kit, and I hadn't yet used these, and I wanted to use the outline alphabet to go ahead and spell out the word Sabbath up across the top of the page. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my journaling pen and just quickly add my journaling. There was a verse that my husband says all the time. It's actually Mark 2:27, where Jesus said, "The Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath." And so I decided to quote that here. And I'm just thanking God for the gift of rest that he gives us and asking that he would show me how I can use it to honor and glorify him. I hope you'll check out the blog post that goes along with this page, because I talk practically about how my family seeks out rest and observes the Sabbath. and that it is not a one-size-fits-all deal, and it may look different for you in different seasons of your life, and that's okay. We just make adjustments as necessary. So I hope you'll check out illustratedfaith.com/blog to read more about that. My attention was kind of like pulled down to the bottom because there wasn't much happening. There's a lot of paint, but not so much is really going on underneath that washi tape. So I looked to the words sticker book, and I wanted something darker, so I pulled out this black phrase that says heart fuel and put that down at the bottom, layered over a little bit more of that polka dot washi, and then I just start putting that all over the page. And then I'm thinking it's missing something, and then realized, well, I didn't use a date stamp, so I'm going to go ahead and get the date stamp down. And then you'll see in the final images coming up here that I added a couple or a few of the pink Hexie stickers just to bring a little more pink into the page, so you can see off to the left, to the bottom by that word fetty, and then up here clustered behind that card. And that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in picking up Brianna's set, I've got it linked in the video description below. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.